Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree. Just wanted to pop in and let everybody know that we actually released an update to our latest freebie. You can see here in front of me. What we did was we added an extra layer. I think I may have glued this down for the photo. I did. We added an extra layer so that you can actually have your machine do the stitching on this instead of doing it by hand. So what I wanted to do today was just kind of run you through the process of setting that up, and we're going to do that in Design Space. And I'll show you one little thing, one extra little thing here. So if you've already downloaded the file, you'll want to delete the current copy that you have, log into the website and go under My Account and head over to your downloadable products, and you're going to locate the file and you're going to re-download it by hitting the download button next to it. Okay, so once we get into Design Space, these are the two files that contain stitching. The main part of the vest, and then we have some overlays. This is the back panel, and you can see where the stitching is here, as well as here. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, there you have it. And over here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the layers section, because in order to isolate and set these up to draw, we're going to need to use the layer section. So you can see here we have two files. We have the main olive, and you'll know that you're using the correct version because in the file name it'll say stitch. Okay, so here is the main part of the vest, and we're going to expand it here. And I just want to click on these one at a time here so I can show you what each one is. Okay, so as we go down the different layers on this piece, we'll click on this one, and if we're not quite sure what it is, we can always hide it by clicking that and just kind of take a look and see what appears and disappears. And here you can see that these little elements and the little slit, or the little slit that holds the gift card, that is also disappearing. So that is not the correct layer. We want to leave that one alone. We want that to cut. These are little guides to help you with the placement of all of the little overlays. So if we keep on going here to the next one, okay, when we click on that, it highlights a bunch of different things. I'm not quite sure what it is. I have a feeling it is the stitching. So let's hide it and let's see if it is. And it is. Okay, so I found it here. This is the stitching element. So I'm going to just make sure that I have only this part of that element, or this layer in this element selected, only this one. And you can see it's highlighted in a green color. And we're going to change the operation up here to draw, and we're going to hit pen. Okay, so it made it a little bit bolder, and we're just going to continue down to see what the rest of the stuff is. So if we highlight this, okay, this is actually, what is that? That is the score line. Okay, you can see when I hide it that the score line here appears and disappears. Now I have the solid score line version here, so I want to make sure that I highlight that and I change that operation to score. Otherwise, the machine's going to cut that and it's going to slice these two sides off. And then of course we have the main part, the main cut. You can see that it's nice and green here, and if we hide it, it hides the whole thing. We don't want to mess with that. Obviously, we want that to cut. So just to recap, those are markers and slits for the gift card. We want that to cut. This is the actual stitching, and when we highlight it, we'll notice that the operation is set to pen, which is what we want. This next one here is the score lines. You can see them disappearing, and when we have it highlighted, the operation is set to score, and then of course the main cut. Okay, so now that we have that all configured properly, we can either click on it in its entirety by clicking anywhere here, or you can click on the main file here under layers to select everything. And of course we want to attach it, because if we don't attach it, it's going to put all of these layers on a separate mat. So let's see what happens if I don't attach. I'm going to hit make it. Okay, and there you can see it put that on one section, and then it put that on another section. It's a huge mess. We're going to cancel that. This is why it's always important to attach. Okay, so again, you can click here, or you can click on the entire element here, not down here, because then you're only selecting that one layer. You want to make sure you select the main grouping. Okay, and then we're going to hit attach. So we've got that done. And I'm going to slide on over here to this other piece. And we're going to go through it pretty much the same way we did the first one. I'm going to reveal all of the different layers for this element. And we'll do the same thing again. You can see the little eyeball there. I'm going to hide that. And you can see as I hide and show that layer, you can see that it's these little cuts here. And again, those are just markers to help you with placement. We want to keep that as a cut. The next one, now when I click on it here, you can see the little bounding box is right around the stitching. So we know that we want to set that to draw. Okay, so we have only that element selected, or that part of the element selected, that layer right here. We're going to go to Operation, and we're going to hit Pen under Draw. And then finally here, we have the main cut. And you can see if we hide it, it gets rid of the main cut. We obviously want that. Okay, now this back panel here is used, you're going to use that for stamping. You can write a message on it. I'm going to use my single line font and add a message. Okay, so I'm going to go under here. I already have it pre-selected. I have a single line font installed. Did a search for SLF. I don't know why it's not coming up now. Let's try that again. SLF, because all those fonts start with that. And I'm going to use Graceful. And go back here. Now that it's selected, there's my text. I'm going to bring it over here. And I'm going to write a silly message to my eventual father-in-law. Hey there, guy. Hope you have a wonderful Father's Day! Exclamation point. Let's catch some whoppers. So obviously we fish together. Okay, so I've got it. Now obviously it's way too big. Okay, so I want to take and select it, grab that little handle there on the bottom right, and resize it until it fits. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and get that nice and centered on there. That looks great. Okay, so now what we want to do, obviously we want the machine to write this. So with it highlighted, and you can see it highlighted here, under Operation, we're going to change that to Pen as well. Now with these single line fonts, and by the way, this is from the single line font website. So if you go to singlelinefonts.com, she's actually having a sale right now. We'll make sure to include a link. If you click on the link, we'll receive a small commission. It doesn't cost you anything, doesn't increase the price, and we just get a little bit of a cut of it. But she's got some wonderful fonts that work just the way that I'm showing you in Design Space. Okay, and I actually have a whole another video that talks about single line fonts as well, which you should check out, and I'll make sure to link to that as well. But anyway, now that we have it changed to Operation Pen, we have it highlighted here, and you can see under Operation it's set to Pen. Now occasionally I'm going to hit Make It and see what happens, and I think I discussed this in the previous video. Sometimes the letters come out wacky looking, okay, and we're going to take a look and see what happens here. And yeah, you can see they're kind of wacky. They're not even showing up properly. So to fix that, we're just going to make sure that we have the letters highlighted here, and we're going to go under Advanced, and we're going to click Ungroup to Letters. Okay, and it's going to separate them all, and that's okay. And now, one other thing that we need to do here is just make sure that we select all of this. Okay, I'm not sure why it was selecting that one too. I want to create a box just around this element. There we go. And we need to attach that as well so that it keeps it all together. So let's take a look and see what it looks like when we hit Make It. Okay, and there you go. Okay, so we have the writing, we have the stitching, we have the cuts, we have the markers, and then here's mat number 2. Everything looks great. So let's take a look and see what we end up with when we go to make it. Okay, so I'm going to hit Continue. I've got my maker selected here, and you can see here on the left-hand side, it's going to start with the pen, and then it's going to do a basic cut. I'm just going to select medium cardstock, and I tend to always set the pressure to more, and it's going to tell me to load a pen. So I just have these pens that I got from Craft World, And with your maker here, you have a slot for the pen. You're gonna pop it in there and push it down until you hear it click. There we go. And just close it up. I've got my standard blade in here. I always like to make sure that it's clean before I do my cuts. Okay, and it's ready to go, so let's get that started. Well, so you can see here, after the first cut, that the areas that needed the stitching were drawn in with the actual pen, rather than having to do it by hand. And we also, obviously we have little markers to help you with the placement of, well, it's actually these pieces here. I'm gonna go right there using those little markers. And then of course we have the single line font that finishes it off with beautiful penmanship, because of course I can't write at all. Okay, so just gonna repeat the same, well, actually just gonna finish the cutting of the other part of the vest. Now, I'm not gonna go through the full assembly in this video because I've already created an assembly video for this product, and you can locate that on the actual website by just visiting the product page and clicking on the product here. And you'll see if you scroll down a little bit, you have the full assembly video ready for you to watch, so you can see how everything goes together. Okay, so again, the only difference here is that we're using our machine to actually do the stitching for us, and that's gonna save you some time. It's also gonna make it look a lot neater. Luckily, I have surgeon-like skills, so on this original one, you really can't tell. There are some parts where I kind of goofed up a little bit, but for the most part, I did a pretty good job. I think the benefit, especially, of having the machine do it is going to be around these little areas here, where it's kind of round. So it's definitely some good knowledge to have to help you expand your skill set in Cricut design space. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely take advantage of this freebie. Again, 3dsvg.com, and click on free SVG files, and you'll see it there. Get it while it is free. I look forward to crafting with you soon. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.